What's up, everybody? Today, everyone, I want to talk about the Spy Master, the latest incarnation of the Master, the Doctor's greatest villain, I think. Introduced in series 12 of the Chibnall era. Like many things from around this time, the timeline is very unclear in these recent appearances. But here I want to provide my own perspective and clarify some things which I feel might be confusing in the fandom regarding Sacha Dhawan's portrayal of the Master. Now, first and foremost, can I just say out of the way, I am a big fan of this Master. I'm a big fan of Sacha Dhawan, and I think this is an awesome incarnation, version of the character. Potentially my second favorite in the whole show, and definitely my favorite of New Who. Now, I know what a lot of you may be thinking, and yes, I am tempted to make a video on Missy as a whole, because my thoughts on the character are very complex and very hard to kind of communicate in a short amount of time. But anyway, back to the Spy Master, otherwise known as the O Master, as in O, like the literal letter O, due to his code name when he was in MI6. He took up the identity of O, a secret agent, and hid in the desert in what we would find out to be was his TARDIS, but looked just like a regular house. This was all a part of his plan in Spyfall Part 1 and Part 2, where he worked with Lenny Henry and the Not Vardens. The Kasavin. They're called the Kasavin. How could I possibly forget that? But this plan in Spyfall isn't necessarily what people are all too hung up on. I could do a full episode breakdown, but it seems quite pointless to do. The main intriguing part is what the Master says at the very end of the episode, where he admits that he destroyed Gallifrey after becoming enraged by finding out what they had done, the secret of the Timeless Child. We all know about the Timeless Child story by now, so no need to go into all that. I think I've even made a video about it before. I may have even made 2 videos, who knows, guys. But the main point of contention is, where does this Master fit in the timeline? We know that Missy comes after the John Sim incarnation, but could the Sacha Dhawan O incarnation come in between them? Well, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, that was the big theory going around, but no. From every single piece of expanded universe material I can find, and even from within the show itself, everything points to this incarnation of the Master coming after Missy's. Now, if you haven't watched the Doctor Fools, it seems pretty concrete that Missy died in that episode. I can't even say that with a straight face. It was so blatantly obvious that she was gonna come back. I was surprised that people genuinely thought that she was going to stay dead. And the same can be said about the Master's fate in Power of the Doctor. If you actually think that the Master is dead here, I don't even know what to say to you. Naive doesn't even cover it. And as we have learned from the Spy Master's arc in future episodes, especially the Power of the Doctor, we know that there is some form of resentment and jealousy there, which is a logical follow through from Missy's character arc, which I'm not gonna go into it, guys. I just said I wouldn't. Save that for another time. But anyway, the Spy Master appeared in multiple stories, namely Spyfall, which we mentioned before, The Timeless Children, and I guess Ascension of the Cybermen, he was in that very briefly, and The Power of the Doctor. In The Timeless Children, we find out why he destroyed Gallifrey, mostly due to his self-hating nature and his jealousy of the Doctor, which, you know, is maybe a little less of an interesting motivation than what they could have done if they'd played around with it a bit more. Not going into, but also that the Master used the remains of the Time Lords and harvested them into creating the Cyber Masters. These guys, who were almost destroyed at the end of the Timeless Children, but the Master escaped in the nick of time, as he always does. Also in that same episode, he absorbed the Cyberium, the computer of the Cybermen that has all of their knowledge and battle strategies. This would also alter his judgment in the Power of the Doctor when coming up with his iconic 3-step plan. Now, I don't really know what the 3rd step of the plan was, but you know, I was thoroughly entertained throughout, and that's all that really matters, to be honest. And yes, as I mentioned already, the Master was featured as the main villain in the Power of the Doctor, stealing the Doctor's body and TARDIS and life in a final desperate attempt to be something, I guess. He makes a discount Starkiller base, all of the Cybermasters get destroyed, I think, maybe there's some of them still out there, his Starkiller base gets completely destroyed, he dies, and also takes the 13th Doctor with him. And that seems to be the end of his timeline. For a Master that only appeared in 3 stories basically, he really did leave an impression. I was a massive fan of this incarnation of the Master, and I am very glad that he will also be getting a Big Finish adaptation, a whole series dedicated to him, which, thank God, I am very hyped about this, much more so than I am about the Fugitive Doctor. And this is coming from someone who actually quite likes the Fugitive Doctor. I kind of hope that he comes back in Russell T Davies too. I know that if the Master was to come back, it would most likely be with a recast, but man, I just want to see more. And I hope you enjoyed the video as a whole. Remember to leave a like and subscribe, guys, and I will see you in the next one.